Welcome back to the Deep Dive. It is February 2026, and I have to ask you, have you looked at a job board lately?
Oh, wow.
Because if you have, you've probably felt this really specific weird tension in the air.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're living in a world of high-speed tech. AI is everywhere, but the signals from the job market are just, well, they're confusing.
They really are. You have these headlines just screaming about automation taking over.
Right.
But then you actually talk to hiring managers, and they are desperate. I mean, truly desperate for things that, an algorithm just can't do.
That is exactly what we're getting into today. We've got volume 47 of the Your Career, Your Future newsletter.
Yeah, this one's from the Career Experts Group, a great resource.
And they've titled this whole edition, Sustaining Your Professional Energy for Career Resilience, Building Capacity, Not Burnout.
And that title, Building Capacity, Not Burnout, I mean, that tells you everything you need to know about the mood right now in 2026.
It really does.
The whole conversation is shifted.
Yeah.
It's not just how do I get a job fast anymore. It's how do I survive the search and actually thrive without, completely frying my nervous system.
I feel like building capacity should be the mantra for this whole year. So here's our mission for this deep dive. We're going to cut through that noise.
Okay.
We're going to look at the data on which industries are actually booming. And spoiler alert, it is not just robots writing code.
No, it's not.
We're also going to break down energy-efficient job search strategy, one that totally pushes back on that panic apply urge.
And we have to talk about the mechanics of the modern interview. I mean, the one-way video interview is a big one. It creates so much anxiety.
Yeah. Yes.
And we'll even look at the neuroscience behind why blurring your Zoom background might actually be costing you the job.
And because we believe in learning from the best, no matter the species.
I know where this is going.
We're going to end with a masterclass in personal branding from a groundhog named Chuck.
Chuck McShadow. Genuinely one of the sharpest examples of brand positioning I have seen all year.
I cannot wait to get to Chuck. But let's start with the reality of the market. We have this report, Where the Jobs Are, the 2026 Outlook.
Right, by Elise Pipitone. She's pulling data from LinkedIn, from Monster.
So what's actually happening out there?
Well, the data really contradicts the fear. The common narrative is what? That AI is erasing the human element.
Yeah, that's the story.
But Pipitone's analysis shows a massive surge in roles that require that deep, messy human connection. Yes, AI is huge, of course.
Sure.
Especially for researchers and quantitative analysts, the people determining risk. But look at business development.
Right, I saw that. It's not just sales rep anymore. The language has totally changed.
It has. The demand is for advisors, for consultants. Think about it. In a world where AI can give you a price quote in, a millisecond?
Instantly.
Clients don't need a salesperson to process a transaction.
Mm-hmm.
They need someone to solve a complex problem. The role is relational now, not transactional.
And that trend seems to bleed right into customer support, too. The report lists travel advisors and financial planners.
Which makes total sense.
It does. If my flight gets canceled or my retirement fund just tanks, I do not want to talk to a chatbot. I want empathy. I want a human to say, I gotcha.
Empathy is the new currency. An algorithm can rebook the flight, sure, but it can't manage the anxiety of, maybe missing a wedding. That's the human premium.
You see it in healthcare, too.
Oh, even more starkly. Psychiatric nurse practitioners and medical reimbursement specialists are in critical demand.
Reimbursement specialists. That sounds so bureaucratic.
It is. But think about the complexity. You're dealing with the American healthcare finance system. It's a labyrinth. It's all gray areas, nuance, high emotional stress. You need a human brain for that.
You can't automate that kind of negotiation.
Not yet. And even the trades are shifting.
Yeah.
It's not just about swinging a hammer. The demand is for construction project leads.
People who manage teams, timelines, crises.
The common thread here, across all these booming industries, is ambiguity. If a task is repetitive and clear, a machine does it. If it's ambiguous, emotional, or requires synthesis, you need a human.
So the robot revolution is actually pushing us up the value chain.
That's a great way to put it. And there's a long-term play here. The newsletter mentions a University of Wisconsin report. It predicts that by 2035, just 10 years out, we're going to see a severe shortage.
A shortage of what?
Trained workers in nursing, data science, and cybersecurity. We are talking thousands of unfilled, high-paying jobs.
So if you're listening and you're feeling stuck or worried your industry is shrinking, the move isn't just find a new job. It's upskill into the shortage.
Pivot to where the scarcity is. That is how you build resilience.
Okay, but let's talk about the immediate problem. So I'm ready to pivot. I open my laptop, I see 500 job postings, and my instinct is just to hit quick apply on every single one.
I know that feeling. It's the productivity trap.
Exactly. I want to feel productive.
You send 20 resumes an hour. You get this little dopamine hit, right? I get something. But because you use that spray and pray method, the quality is low. You get 0 responses. And that silence, that leads to burnout.
It feels like you're shouting into a void, and eventually you just lose your voice.
And it creates what Denise Bittler, in her article, calls decision fatigue. You spend all your energy just deciding to apply, not on crafting a good application.
So what's her solution?
She proposes this really radical shift. She calls it the power of 3.
The power of 3. Okay, walk us through this because it sounds almost too simple.
It's a commitment to depth over breadth. You select only 3 roles per day. Just 3.
That sounds terrifyingly low. If you're unemployed, shouldn't you be playing the numbers game?
That's the intuition, I know. But the math doesn't work if your conversion rate is 0. By limiting yourself to 3, you force yourself into what she calls a deep research phase.
So you're not just reading the job description?
No. You're investigating the company's recent challenges, their culture, the specific gaps they're actually trying to fill. You're trying to find the pain point.
You shift from asking for a job to proposing a solution.
Precisely. And to do that, Bittler suggests creating a very specific document. It's called the evidence match.
Okay, this stood out to me as something super actionable. How does it work?
It's a simple 2-column table. Left side, you paste the job's top 3 to 4 requirements. The core problems they need solved.
Got it.
On the right side, you don't just list a skill. You write a 1-sentence evidence statement from your past that proves you've solved that exact problem.
Okay, give me an example. So instead of just saying, I'm a good communicator, what would go in that column?
You'd write something like, restructured the team's communication workflow using Slack, which reduced weekly meeting times by 20%.
Ah, tangible proof, context and result.
Right. And you use this to tailor your resume.
Right.
But then comes the big step, the 1.1 outreach rule.
The scary part.
For a lot of people, yeah. The rule is, for every application you submit, you send one personalized message to a human at that company.
And you're not just saying, hey, I applied, please read my resume.
Absolutely not. That's transactional. You want a relationship. You ask a question based on your deep research. Something like, I saw your team just launched Project X. I'm curious if you're finding challenge Y is an issue. You move your name from a database into a conversation.
That takes a lot of brain power. You can't do that while you're half watching Netflix.
No, you can't. And that's why Bittler talks about task-based time blocking.
Okay.
Don't just put job search on your calendar. It's too vague. You match the task to your energy. If you're sharpest at 9 a.m., that's when you do deep research. You save the admin stuff for your low-energy afternoon time.
She also mentioned a hard shutdown. I feel like this applies to everyone, whether you're job searching or not.
Oh, it's a mental health necessity. When your block is done, you physically close a laptop, you write down your top 3 for tomorrow, and you walk away.
It signals to your brain that the work is done.
It stops that guilt. That I should be doing more loop that just destroys your evening.
That guilt is the real burnout killer. Okay, so let's say the strategy worked. We got an interview invite, but it's 2026. It's an asynchronous interview.
The one-way video interview. You, a screen, a ticking timer, and no human.
I have to be honest, this sounds like an absolute nightmare, talking to myself with a countdown clock.
I know. But Laura Johnson's article on this, it tries to reframe it. And there is an actual upside here.
Really?
Yes, specifically for neurodiverse professionals or anyone who gets anxiety from social cues. In a live interview, you're constantly processing so much extra data.
Like, are they smiling? Did they look bored?
Exactly. It's a ton of noise. In a one-way interview, you control the environment completely.
But what are they actually measuring? Without the, vibe check, how do you win?
They're not testing charisma. They were testing clarity, organization of thought, and technical competence. Can you structure an answer?
So we need a framework. We usually talk about star situation, task, action, result, but that feels like a lot to squeeze into 90 seconds.
It is. Johnson suggests compressing it. Think context, action, outcome, insight.
Okay, give me an example of that in practice.
Okay, so instead of a long story, you give one sentence of context. Our database migration was stalled for 2 weeks. Then action. I implemented a new tagging protocol. Outcome. We finished 3 days early. Insight. I learned that front-loading the organization saves time downstream. Boom. Done.
That is tight, prevents the rambling.
And physically, there are some optics to manage. Eye contact. You have to look at the camera lens, not at yourself on the screen.
Which is so hard. We're all vain. We want to check if our hair looks weird.
I know, but staring at the lens is what simulates eye contact for the reviewer. But, and this is a relief, Johnson says it's okay to look away to think.
Oh, really? I always thought that made you look deceptive.
No, if you stare unblinkingly the whole time, you look like a robot. Looking up or to the side, it signals cognitive load. It shows you're actually thinking, not just reciting a script.
And please do not read a script.
Oh, it sounds like a hostage video if you do.
Hmm.
Authenticity always wins over perfection.
Speaking of optics, let's talk about the background. Jacqueline Perros has this article on visual branding and the 7-second rule.
Right. The science shows it takes less than 7 seconds for someone to form a judgment about you. And in a video call, your background is part of your outfit.
Which brings us to the great debate. To blur or not to blur? I've always blurred because I thought it was polite to hide my messy bookshelf.
And that's where the intuition is wrong. A study from Durham University is cited here, and the verdict is clear. Do not blur.
Wow.
Trust. The study found that people perceived individuals with real, curated backgrounds as significantly more trustworthy and competent.
What's the psychology behind that?
It's about how our brains process visuals. Blurring creates these artificial distortions, these visual artifacts. You know when you move your hand and it kind of disappears?
Yes, the ghost hand.
That distracts the brain. It triggers this subtle, subconscious, uncanny valley thing, a real background, even a simple plant or a tidy shelf. It grounds you in reality. It says, I'm a real person. I have nothing to hide.
You can't have depths without surfaces. That's the quote from the article.
It's so profound. These superficial details are actually powerful signaling cues.
So, tidy up the room. What about what you're wearing? Are we still doing the business on top, pajamas on the bottom thing?
Perros advises against it. She says dress fully, head to toe.
But the camera can't see my shoes. Why does it matter?
Because you can feel them. It's a concept called enclothed cognition. When you're wearing professional shoes, you literally sit differently. Your posture changes. You feel more authoritative, and that translates through the screen.
It's like method acting for the corporate world.
Essentially. And stick to solid colors. Patterns and stripes can create that shimmering effect on camera. Solid colors anchor you. They keep the focus on your face.
Okay, so we've optimized the application, the interview, the visuals, but what about finding the opportunities in the first place? Gene Stoner's article on micronetworking takes this a step further.
This is really for the people who hate traditional networking. The whole collecting business cards at a mixer idea is, well, it's dead. Stoner advocates for depth over volume.
She mentions a 9-minute daily habit from William Arruda. This caught my eye because 9 minutes feels so doable.
It is incredibly efficient. The math is great. If you spend just 9 minutes a day engaging with your network, that adds up to about 40 hours a year.
A full work week of networking done in these tiny little doses.
Exactly. But it has to be intentional. You're not just scrolling. You're commenting thoughtfully. You're sharing an article with a specific caption. You're checking in on a former colleague.
Stoner also warns about where we do this. She talks about niche groups.
Right. Don't just join the global marketing professionals group on LinkedIn with 2 million members. That's shouting in a stadium. You want the smaller groups where people are actually talking.
You want a living room, not an arena.
And she insists on tracking ROI.
Yeah.
This is the part people always skip. Actually measure it. Are these communities yielding referrals? Are you learning things? If not, move your energy somewhere else.
Intentionality. It seems to be the word of the day.
It's the only way to cut through all the noise.
Now, speaking of cutting through the noise with a strong brand, we have to discuss the special holiday treat from the newsletter. The LinkedIn profile of Mr. Chuck McShadow.
The chief seasonal continuity forecaster.
This is a satire profile for a groundhog, but honestly, as I was reading it, I realized this is a masterclass in positioning.
It really is. It's hilarious, but it's structurally perfect.
He identifies himself as a working-class groundhog's groundhog, and he explicitly distinguishes himself from the prestigious Punxsutawney Phil.
That is classic brand differentiation. He knows his competitor, and he positions himself as the gritty, relatable alternative. He knows his audience.
And the skills section: media-ready dramatic pauses, seasonal blame absorption, and crisis forecasting.
Seasonal blame absorption is a skill I think every middle manager in corporate America actually has.
Painfully true. And his experience summary: turning a 2-second shadow sighting into a year-long weather debate.
What I love about this is that it just reinforces the whole lesson. Storytelling is everything. Even a rodent can have a compelling value prop if the narrative is clear. Chuck has a voice. He has a brand. He has consistency.
He even lists his side hustles. Children's birthday parties, yes, I brought my shadow.
It just shows you don't have to be boring to be professional. In a stack of generic resumes, the candidate with a clear voice, like Chuck, is the one who gets remembered.
So if a groundhog is outbranding you, it might be time to revisit your profile.
Absolutely.
Wow. We have covered a massive amount of ground today. From the shift to human-centric roles, to the power of three, to the neuroscience of your Zoom background. If someone listening takes one thing away from this deep dive, what should it be?
You have to stop confusing activity with progress. The job market in 2026 is noisy, it's high pressure. If you try to match that with frantic applying and frantic networking, you will burn out.
So what's the alternative?
The winning strategy is what I'd call high-resolution work.
High resolution.
Yeah. Sharp, clear, intentional actions.
Sure.
3 deep applications are worth more than 50 shallow ones. A real background is worth more than a generic blur. One specific question to a real human is worth more than 100 connect button clicks. Build your capacity by doing less, but doing it with a much deeper focus.
I love that. So here's our challenge to you listening right now. Try the hard shutdown today.
Do it.
When you are done with your work job or job search, physically close the machine. Write down your top 3 for tomorrow, and just walk away. Protect your peace.
You can't be resilient if you never, ever recharge.
And hey, if you need a little inspiration on how to stand out, just think of Chuck McShadow. If he can face the national media after forecasting 6 more weeks of winter, you can definitely handle that video interview.
Indeed you can.
Thanks for diving in with us. We'll see you next time.
Take care.